once again, welcome back to another edition on the Orange and Blueprints on Bayou City Soccer. It feels like I was here just yesterday, and I was here yesterday. But talking about the Dynamo, I know the Dynamo just won right now, but right now we're just going to talk about the Houston Dash and their game. I know it's uh, always, I mean, it's always a mixed bag when it's international break, but I think it's a good time that the international break come back. But I'm Manny Olivares here as your host, but I'm here with my co-host, my pumped up man. He's very pumped from today's win. Diego, say how you doing, Diego?
What's up, fam? I'm doing great. I was just wrapping up with some Dynamo coverage. As you mentioned, we got the 3-0 win against New York. But I'm back. I'm excited to talk some Dash. Last week, I was unfortunately gone because I was sick, and the wonderful Theo had the amazing opportunity to step in for me, which I'm forever thankful. But I'm glad to be back and really excited to talk some Dash. We had a really good game against Bay FC, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. And we've got a lot of good call-ups for international windows. So, I mean, plenty to talk about. I see you with the USA kit.
I know. I like this one. This is almost the underrated one, but I kind of like this one better than the men's World Cup one.
I need to relook at that one. I'm gonna be so honest. It was very forgettable.
It was like this, like almost this pattern, but the crest was in the middle, and that was basically it.
Okay.
It was just blue, no red, just strictly blue with the crest in the middle.
I don't know why, but I think of Brandon Vasquez when I see that.
Yeah, because I think he was on the preliminary, and then he was cut after that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But no, it was pretty much it. I kind of like this one. This is a upgrade to it, but
hmm
I have my eyes on the new one, the pinstripes.
I
Ooh,
still don't like it. I told you this last episode.
With Avery in the back. Oof.
Avery on the back is Avery number 8. Avery number 8.
Yeah, that's yeah. If you go on the team story, Avery is upgraded to number 8 for some reason, but I don't know. We'll
I
see.
think she's been killing it, man. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm still not a fan of that jersey. I'm gonna be so honest. I'm not a fan of that jersey.
I like it. I like it. It's different. It's different. It's different. I like it more than the home one. The home one looks different, looks interesting, but I think it's just me. But enough that we'll talk about international duty in a bit.
Mhm.
But we want to start by with our game this past man. It felt like it was a while ago, but it was just last week. I'm already blanking out, but it was last Saturday at 7 p.m. Houston Dash versus Bay FC. Houston Dash was supposed to start at 4, but due to the extreme heat that everyone was experiencing, the game was pushed back to 7. Not delayed, just pushed back for safety reasons by the league at 7, and it was Houston Dash versus Bay FC. Uh, it looked like it was going to be great for the Dash. One
Mhm.
goal in the first half, Avery Patterson golazo. It was just a golazo. Just
It was a beauty. I don't know why, but she just scores bangers. She just scores
yeah,
bangers, and I mean I'm not complaining, but like I want to see a normal Avery Patterson goal. I don't think it exists. I think she only
nah,
scores bangers.
it's like the Griffin Dorsey just outside the box, and then that's it. Yeah, but yeah, so we got that banger. I think it was nominated like almost goal of the week. I don't think he's gonna win,
Should
uh,
have.
but it can. But then we got then out of nowhere in the second half, two horrible goals given by the Dash against Bay FC as Diego runs off because he doesn't want to remember that,
Yeah,
and
I'm running off, and I'm also grabbing my charger.
then of course in the last dying minutes, 2 minutes before regular time, finish of regular time, Messiah Bright gets her first goal for the Houston Dash at a crucial point. I thought that game was going to be 2-1 to BSC, but Messiah Bright took it back. I think you just want to get your initial thoughts, Diego, over the result 2-2.
I mean, I think it was the most characteristic of the season when we look at the games that we've played. They showed kind of the quality that we have on the pitch. Avery Patterson is a prime example of that. You've seen me hype her up and hype her game up all season long, and I think she's finally showing it on the offensive level with her production. And I think she's only going to get better. She's only going to get more adjusted, and I think this is kind of just like the beginning for her this season at least, especially since she had to tackle that injury and finding her place within Fabrice's squad, whether she was going to play more advanced or more as a fullback, and so I think we're finally starting to see that take shape. Defensively, we were not that great compared to other games that we've played. I mean, those two goals that we conceded, I feel like, I mean, it's never good to fall behind at home, and I think the goals that we conceded, I felt like there wasn't they weren't the ones that I would like to see get conceded. But like that's not how the game finished, thankfully, because you mentioned it. Messiah Bright notched her first in her new colors, and I think it was a great goal. I think this shows her tenacity as a player and the tenacity of the team as a whole. I think um, Fabrice is getting that message across through each and every press conference. Mentality, 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 and that kind of mentality can't necessarily be taught or coached. And so we're finally getting to see this team with the mentality necessary to go into these games where you might be winning, you might be losing, but it's minute 80 and you're behind and you need to get some points, and you finally have the tenacity and mentality to really put those points on the board. And I think, yes, it's disappointing to get only 1 point out of two home games in this homestand. But if we look at it on the bigger picture, I think this Bay FC game is a great characteristic of the mentality and the identity that the Dash want to be.
Yeah, exactly. I think I agree with you on that as well. I think it's been a good game. I think I agree with you defensive wise. Defensive wise hasn't been the great. I think Paige Nielsen had her worst game. I think I would say in the Dash colors. So
Mhm.
period, because I think she just gave up a lot of turnovers. She wasn't there, and of course one of the errors led up to the goal that Bay FC got. And so that's why that Jacob's too solid. You know, Lynn is. I think she doesn't have like an amazing stand-up performance, but she's there. Who's there been average every game, which would you ask for? And I think that's pretty much it. I think it was notably. I think the I think also what didn't help, it was a lot of changes to the lineup. Of course, Evelina Dujon and Michelle Alozi got the start in this game. How do you think that contributed to maybe trying to fix, maybe get a new inside the attack? I think this is the first time we see up front Michelle, Evelina, and Barbara up front. You think, because of course it kind of worked for the first goal, but then halftime Fabrice made the changes. So do you think he's still tinkering with the front for the front three and trying to see, okay, what else do we have on the bench?
Yeah, I think it's all about adjustment. I mean, Fabrice has never been shy from having completely different lineups. Like looking at some player choices that he's made. I mean, Dujon up front, Maggie Graham playing at the right back a couple of games ago. You see Fabrice making these decisions and making these tweaks, and I think some of them are going to pay off, like the early goal that was scored by Avery, thanks to her pushing forward. Um, but some aren't going to pay off, like Maggie not necessarily playing the best as a fullback or necessarily the midfield duo of Maggie, Delaney, and Barb not necessarily clicking offensively. Um, you see these different adjustments, and you ask, when are we going to get to the point where Fabrice truly knows who he's going to want to play and where he's going to want to play them? Because we're getting to a point in the season where these decisions, I feel like, should start to get made, and I really haven't noticed a clear player in a clear position, if that makes sense. The only player that I can really see have any positional consistency is Avery in the fullback position. But again, he really likes it seeing her play advanced, getting her on the offense, getting her involved. And we've seen her production really improve because of that. So even if we're going to play her as a fullback, we're not truly confident what kind of player we want her to be. And so I think these kinds of adjustments, while good, do need to gain a little more consistency in order for us to truly build an identity as a club.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the player. Interesting. I think the I see four players that are sort of like concrete in the lineup. Avery, of course, we just don't
Mm.
know if she's higher on top of the field, more defensively, but she's going to be on the right side somewhere.
Yeah.
And then interesting, Delaney Sheehan and Calaprico, they always been the two midfielders in the middle. I feel like
Mhm.
he doesn't. Of course, he makes substitutions, but starting they're the midfielders that for sure is going to start in the midfield. And interesting, I think for me, that's been an interesting surprise is Katie Lynn. Katie Lynn has been almost starting every game as not your main center back, but one of the three. Of course, a rotation of Jacobs being injured, Paige Nilsson, Westfall. But of course, I think Lynn is always the one in there. But I think it's just trying to see the tickling. Of course, this is a help. I think he's trying to accommodate with the lack of injuries or the lack of strikers present. Of course,
Mhm.
we are big, don't want to be a broken record, but Diana Diana O'Dorian is not being available. Her third straight game that she's not on the availability because of the excuse absence. But yeah, we'll talk about later. Yeah, she's available for Mexico. So, but that's a different story. But of course, Yasmin Ryan still out with the injury. She looks, I think recently she looks better in recent pictures. So hopefully, maybe after the international break, she'll be back. And of course, Messiah Brett has, of course, she has scored her goal, her first goal. But I think what's missing of her is that goal, is that being threat. She had an
Yeah.
assist early in the season, but not have a goal. And so I think that was pretty much. And of course, Michelle was in this lineup because she did had a goal the previous game, but it was giving us an own goal. But she made like you said, made the opportunity to score. I think it's a lot of changes, and so trying to see what fits and what's. I think he's trying. Not saying he's trying to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. But it's kind of like that at the moment because of injury unavailability. You kind of see okay, what are you trying to do at that point?
Hmm.
But I think for me, what's more interesting now, of course, is that Stu after I think Abby Smith, they didn't have her best game last game, but he kept still sticking with her. So I think Rudy wants us to talk about is this the end of Jane Campbell, or we're just overthinking it and maybe down the line he makes another switch on goalkeeper.
It's been 3 games. I don't think it's necessarily the end of Jane Campbell. With the player that she is, I don't think there's 3 games in we're hitting the panic button. That's not the type of player that Jane Campbell is. I think if this is just as of now, just Fabrice making lineup decisions. He's said it time and time again that nobody is safe on the starting 11, and he's just showing that. I think the biggest question for me, not trying to shift the conversation away from Abby and then Jane a little, is where does Barb fit in this team? We've seen her in previous seasons play mostly around the midfielder, possibly an attacking midfielder, and really be that physical, like technical presence within that space. But now we're kind of seeing her in more advanced positions. Sometimes she's even been played as the 9. And so like I want to bounce a question to you of like, where do you think Barb fits in this team, considering that like you've seen her kind of stick but not stick, play well but not play well in
Hmm.
every little position. And so I'm curious to see where you feel like she fits in any of this.
I think it's interesting you say that because as you mentioned that Barb had her basically I think she would her best game in this season so far. I think she was nominated. I weirdly I think for me nominated for player of the week for this game. I think she had a good game, but I don't think it was player of the week worthy nomination. But that's my opinion. I think just consider the rest of the week's performance of other teams of other players. But I think 2 assists and being crucial on the attack, especially when you know you don't have the accounts of Messiah Bright, Yasmin Ryan in the front line. So basically everything was going through Barb. But I think tackling your question, I think Barb has been, I think, better as a super sub because I think not just saying that she's not a good starter. Like this game, she was starting and she had a phenomenal game. But I think you see more consistency of her coming off the bench than being started. I think because Fabrice has her maybe almost like a second striker, almost down the wing. I think she plays better as a second striker, playing off the striker down, not truly a 10, but almost like a center forward ish, not the main striker, but I think just the I'm trying to think FIFA terms, but I'm just trying like the second striker or shadow striker behind him. I'm just like thinking of that right now, but
Kind of
but
like false nine.
yeah, exactly. Playing off it, but she when she does that, she plays. Of course, it's hard for her to get a good performance because sometimes she gets in that grit. She fouls a lot, which is good because what she's trying to do is break momentum from the other team to get a counterattack or get confidence on the ball. But she does that from high up, so it's really good on that. But of course, rain doesn't hurt. It hurts her a little bit, but I think at the moment, what I like to see from her is have more games like this. Uh, everything was on her shoulders to create, to bring everything up, and she did in those 2 goals. So I think it's just hopefully we see more of that. But if not, I think we know what she got more success from is coming off the bench. So
I
if
think
Fabrice wants to do that again, he can do that. But what do you think? It's kind of
I
hard. Barb,
it's hard because my question has always been, is Barb willing to take that back seat? And I don't think she is. I think she's been a staple in this Dash lineup for
Mhm.
years at this point, and she's a hometown kid from Katy. She's the staple, the young promising star that we've always had. With other players being support
Mhm.
as she grows and develops. So I don't know if she's willing to take that step forward and being, hey, I'm fine starting the next 15 games on the bench as a spark plug or as a super sub. I I think we really need to get more of her games like the Bay FC game where she comes on as a starter, makes an impact, gets shifted mid game but doesn't come off and still is able to provide an impact. I think if we see more of that, then we're really going to see the player that Barb can be because there's no doubts to her talent and her skill as a player. But I think I'm not too confident in her willingness to stay with the Dash if Fabrice is going to knock on her door and be like, hey, our plan for you're going to be a super sub. You're going to be playing at most 20 minutes a game, and you're going to be like making that big impact because I don't think any player wants to hear that news considering they've been a staple of that starting 11 for 2 or 3 years at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's hard. I think it's just trying to find that balance. I think it's very hard because, like you said, Barb has the quality and the talent to start every game. She does. I think no, there's no denying that she does. I think the question is, consistency, consistency, consistency. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I think it's just that, of course, Dujon didn't have her best game, but as well, you can see her that she, makes an impact when she comes on the pitch. I think it's trying to find the balance. Okay, which of these players can spark, light a spark. But I feel like it's a little bit early to tell because hopefully this transfer window opens up. You will see. Most likely, if anything, the Dash will get an attacking player, but it's really hard to tell at the moment because I think that's the position I think they need the most, other than
Mm-hmm.
Yasmin Ryan. Because if Yasmin Ryan, everything goes back to Yasmin Ryan, but I think there's no supporting cast. Of course, Barb is still on and off. Dujan as well. Messiah Bright. contributes, but not offensively most of the time. And Diana Ordonez, is basically out of the picture at the moment. So I think if anything, we should get on our attacking piece and see how that boosts the squad. But it's pretty much there. But I think right now the Dash are with that draw brings them down to 12th place. Not too bad. Still 3 points away from the playoff line. But these games are not easy. These games are not. Um, I think taken for light. I think for the MLS, it's like, oh, you can lose the game and you be back. It's just one
Yeah,
of
no, 100%. I think that these draws, albeit important to not get those big zeros on the board, you have less games in an NWSL season, and every single team from top to bottom is going to be tough to play against. Even a Chicago is going to cause you a tough time. So I
those.
think I think you hit the nail on the dot. That I think, yes, getting to that fringe playoff spot, considering where you were last season, is great. There's no denying that. I feel like we should, if we're in that spot, we should be pushing to get 3 points every single game, because it's not like MLS where you lose a game and you have that cushion of playing 40 more games.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the main idea. Just don't have that cushion, or I think it's just the also because the table is split. Right here you go all one table, so it's kind of hard to do that. But I think it's just in time. We'll see. We'll see. I think what's important is that hopefully after this international break, the team can relax, can recover, can have a good mental mind space, and regroup to have a better s- uh, finish to the first half of the season before
Yeah.
the international the break in the summer. So I think that's the only thing you can ask for. But you know, before we have that, we have another break at the moment. So we have a international window this coming up week. Interesting enough, Dash. I think they're saying the broadcast like the BCS only had two players called up. Dash has 8 players called up, all in 8 different countries. So of course, as you know, Avery is going to the women's national team to face off against Jamaica and China. Of course, and Barb was called up for Venezuela to face New Zealand and Ecuador. Diana Ordonez going for Mexico to face Uruguay, and both games. Elvira Dujan has been called up for the U23 for Sweden to face Italy and Spain. Kiki has been Van Zanten has been called up for Jamaica to face against the USA and a training match. And Michelle Lozzi for Nigeria and Romana Bachmann for Swiss and Sarah Putigam for Austria for a Nations League. So I think overall, good call ups. I think for players that might need it. I think who will benefit more from these call ups than anything.
I mean, the easy pick would be Avery, because it's clear that Emma Hayes has so much confidence in her. But I have to say it's Diana. I have to say it's Diana. If she can get on that field and notch some goals, I think she really needs it, because there's no way that we are playing without a certified number 9, and we have one on the bench that's completely unavailable, and she gets called up to a very impressive national team in Mexico. I think this Mexican squad has a lot of talent, and that can very easily benefit her play. I think it's really important for her to get this playing opportunity, and I feel like she needs to make it count in order for Fabrice to continue to actually give her opportunities. Because I mean, it's really tough to break that cycle of you don't play, so you can't prove your coach wrong, because you can't get more minutes because your coach doesn't see you play. That cycle is vicious, and this is an opportunity for her to break out of it, and I think she needs to take that advantage.
Yeah, I, I agree on you on that. I just hopefully it does work out for the case for Deanna that she could prove that she could work in the international stage. I think it's been a long time she scored a goal for for Mexico. So it's been I don't know how long it's been, but it's been quite a while as well because I don't think she has been starting for Mexico, just mostly off the bench. But but hopefully she can get that. I think for me, other than of course Diana Ordonez, but I think just for me it's hard for her to see that it will benefit her since she's off, you know, not coming on, not helping immediately at the dash. I think the two players that I think just three. One's off stretch, but I think it's important for her. But the two players is Evelina Dujon and
Mhm.
Kiki Van Santen. Two players that both on the bench. Evelina is still, of course, still a young player. Maybe not the best player that the Dash has, but still a quick, feisty forward that can make some damage if she's on her game. I think the U23 hopefully and I think for sure she will have the quality to start in both games. And so for that, and also Kiki Van Santen, I think recently we've seen her getting used more as a sub, and she has been, I think two good opportunities in both games. One game last week against was it Portland that she could have scored a goal. Could have changed the game, but didn't make the opportunity. And then of course this game passed where she only had 10 minutes as well. So you can see Fabrice is trying to use her more. And of course, last for me is Sarah Putigam. She's been used more to maintain the formation of the midfield in replacement of either Sheehan or Calaprico to solidify the midfielder. And that's the player she is. She's a player to that she needs minutes though. I think she has been only coming up for herself for quite a bit. So I think she needs the minutes. So I think for me, those three players are the more crucial. I think immediately. Diana, I think we're both on the same page. Diana needs the time, needs the minutes, but it's hard for her to get the minutes. But I think I'm with you on this one. Hopefully none of the players come back injured.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the really big hope because I would make the argument that if Avery didn't get hurt against the U.S. camp, we'd be in the playoff line.
Yeah,
And I
I think
think I the biggest expectation for this transfer window shouldn't be for players to improve. It's that they should come back in one piece. I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
could hope.
exactly. I think that was a shock, and then she was out for like almost three
Mhm,
games. So I think it's 2 games for sure, and then I don't know about the third game. I think she came back in the starting level or up the sub. But yeah,
mhm.
I think hopefully that doesn't happen, but we don't know. I know it's a fluke. The ball hit her face and it caused a black eye and everything. So, but it was just unfortunate. So hopefully same thing. None of these players get injured. It's always hard, especially when an international win. It's always hard to see. But we'll have to see on that. But I think the only match we'll tell you guys to watch is June 3rd when USA versus Jamaica. So Kiki will face Avery. Hopefully, if I think for sure Avery's gonna start, but it's really
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, especially since she's been given the eight. I mean, she's getting the start.
Yeah, I think as well. I think this uh also to mention, like I was mentioning, Evelina has a U23 call up. A lot of the USA players, the mainstay players that are young are transitioned over to U23. So like so a lot of players that should have been in this lineup went to the U23 training camp to play some international games with the U23 sides. So like players like I think the like Corbin Albert, who's usually a mainstay, went to the U23. So it's like I think you just see the difference. I think Emma Hayes want to see different players when she's on the main squad. So it's really interesting. So we'll see. Hopefully, I think Avery's gonna play a lot more games. But that's pretty much what that's going to be on for the next week or so because I know it's going to be no NWSL games, just international games coming up. But how do you feel about this international window? You think you'll be watching all the games or just see the
I'm
results?
I'm tuning into Mexico and I'm tuning into the US. I might tune into to that Nations League game for Sarah, but those two, the Mexico and the US games, I'm definitely tuning in. What about
Yeah,
you? You
I think
just the
it's
US game?
I think just mostly the U.S. game. I think it's hard. So the U23 is like, oh, it's hard enough to watch women's
Yeah.
international soccer, you know. But it's like, but I think I'm mostly it will be interesting, of course, USA with Avery trying to see if how many minutes she's gonna play. I think also I'll hopefully keep tabs on Mexico and Evelyn Dujan on the
Hmm.
U23 because I know she's gonna play a lot, Evelina. So it's just I think that's gonna be a huge a confidence boost for her. So we'll see. We'll see
Hmm.
from there. Of course, you know, Ramona Bachmann, you know, even though she plays for Switzerland, but she's still on maternity leave, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really affect us that much. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But thank you all guys for this short episode. It's really short because it's you know I think
The
we
quiet
just
one. The
it's
quiet one.
I know it's really much just recapping of what we thought with AFC, you know, and then of course, you know, it's up to we'll see you next week after the international break because that's all we're gonna talk about international break and then of course when June comes up, hopefully we get more news about this summer cup window. I know
Hoping we get one in Houston because
Casey,
the it's the what the Rising Teal Cup or something like that.
yeah, raising teal cup. Yeah, I
Um,
think you know because you know this summer is different. You know, before we have the Liga MX versus NWSL. So it looks like it didn't, you know, show up this season. So it looks like everyone else is gonna do their own mini competition. So hopefully, Dustin says he wants to see, you know, Club America and Tigres here and maybe another NWSL team or even you never know a USLS Super League team to be here. But
if you were to pick four teams, it can be from anywhere, four corners of the world, to pick your dream tournament. What would it be?
um, Arsenal, the UEFA Champions League winners.
All right, bro. All right, bro.
UEFA Champions League winners.
London's blue. London's blue. That's all I'm telling you.
And then I would like to see uh, Leon
Okay.
and Tigres. Of course, the Dash will not win none of those games, but
Don't beat Tigres. Don't beat Tigres.
it really
We,
depends.
we beat them last
Yeah,
year.
we did them, but the problem the question like surrounding that win I was talking, you know, it was because it was hard for them because it was the beginning of their season. Their you know,
Yeah.
Liga MX Femenil. But the problem was that so we did beat them, but it was like remember we had the games midweek,
Hmm.
and then in the weekend they had to play their regular, you know, competition, you know, season as well. So they had to come to the USA, fly back to Mexico, play their regular season game, and come back again for another cup game.
I'm
You
just
know,
saying. Scoreboard.
I know. So if it is that under that same circumstances, of course we're gonna beat them because they'll be tired. But I think the problem is, you know, would that happen again? Would it happen again? But it's hard to know. But of course, uh, yeah, the dash ain't gonna be like Arsenal and Leon, you know. But come on, man. If, what about you? What would be your dream for team?
the the WSL winners, the true pride of London, Chelsea. I gotta give it to Monterrey. I got to cover them when they were in Jersey for the Champions Cup. It was a great experience. I'm gonna go US here. I'm gonna go US here. I'm gonna go with Bay FC. I want to see Bay FC. I think our games with them are always a lot of fun. I think, and obviously us. I think that would be a mix of competitive. I feel like we can square off against Monterrey. We could square off against BFC. LC, I don't necessarily think we can,
Yeah,
but a man can dream. But that's my dream for. That's my dream for
yeah,
right there.
but yeah, I think anything in the European side, and Mexico side, will be a dream showing in the
Yeah,
states. So but it's really up to see what I think. If anything, most likely it's going to be Mexico teams. But
yeah.
I think it'll be the most. But if you can do more exposure, if you can do, you know, get a European team here, I think that's gonna
I
be.
remember. I remember Barcelona women's came a long time, a good bit ago.
Yeah, yeah, it was a while better ago. Yeah, but recently they came last year to Dallas to face the new
Yeah,
Trent,
bring him to Houston. Bring him to Houston.
and they whooped. I think they whooped the Dallas Trinity like 9-0. I can't
Yeah,
remember, so
yeah.
it was bad. But
Bring him to Houston. Bring him to
but
Houston.
nah, man, let's get the UEFA Champions League, man. Come on, man, winners. Come on, come on, man.
I like you less now that you're an Arsenal fan. I don't like this.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. They beat the team that beat Chelsea. They beat the team that beat Chelsea. Come on, man.
You can never catch me like Arsenal. I love the WSL. Still not like it, Arsenal.
But it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. But it is what it is. It's their competitions, their games. So hopefully we'll
Yeah,
see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully by that next week we should know more
yeah,
information, because I think little by little information are coming out about the teams they're playing against. But we will know until hopefully next week or just before the. Give me a moment. Let me give me a moment. Let me look at my calendar, because the season, the cutoff time should end around, yeah, like, so literally next month next week, next weekend, Saturday, June 7th will be kickoff back to the NWSL. Then we come back here the 13th to face San Diego Wave, and then we go away to North Carolina Courage, and that will be the break. You know, so
hmm
we will see who the Dash get from. I think mostly we will see soon. We will hear soon, and we can relate the news and see how that competition will go. So,
yeah,
and of course, the transfer window will be open at the, I think, mid or end June. I have to make sure again, and so we'll see what business. So it's gonna be coming up. This could be last of the boring episodes, low, but I think because when summer starts, everything starts flowing in.
yeah.
But
We're getting into the thick of it and then to the heat of it. I'm excited.
the heat of it, man, no one likes the heat of it.
I like it.
It's
I'm
definitely
stuck in a blizzard for half the year. I'm not complaining. I'm not
a,
complaining one.
I love the heat. I love the heat. I love the cold. I mean, so I'm okay with it. But but I but thank you all for listening to another edition to the Orange and Blueprints podcast. Thank you for coming over. Always remember always to look us up at biocitysoccer.net, and also our X, Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky, Threads at BioCity Soccer. We'd like to thank Ugly Guppy for being our sponsors for, and Elotes Bravos and We Got Soccer for also sponsoring us and giving up. I know Rudy mentioned yesterday that we're gonna have a fan feud feed about a lucky winner is gonna win a coupon for Elotes Bravos. So keep your eyes on that. I know Rudy's gonna work on that, even prizes as well. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Rudy's gonna give us information, and we'll let you know. I think Dynamos is very hard information.
Yeah,
Quizzes, I think it was even more harder for the Dash. I think it's because like the stats and the rewards are like very deep hidden. And it's like, man, who was like MVP last year? I was like, I don't remember. I
it
don't remember. I was
was
like,
Jake last year, wasn't it?
yeah, it was Jane.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, but like if you shot from your hip. I was like, man. But Rudy says it's gonna be multiple choice. It's gonna be nice. So please look out for that and see what we have in store. But
Well,
anything you want to say, Diego, before we head out?
no, I'm just happy to be back. I'm happy to, cover some more Dash. I know this one is a quiet, quick one, but it's always a pleasure. Shout out the GOAT, Manny. Shout out the GOAT. Even though he got the wrong USA kit, we need to get him a Mexico one ASAP. But yeah, everyone have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for all for coming in. Please tune in. Hopefully next Wednesday we'll let you know the results. We'll let you know if someone got injured. JK. But we'll see you then. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all next